And I'm back again. Now, today now that I've gotten the console, showed you what it looks like, let's take a look at a few of the games on here. We got 3D tic-tac-toe. Many of these are 2600 ports of games. So, let's try a game out. You have the rewind, the menu, the start, and all this. So you just click the A button to start the game. Tells you program this game. So basically you're driving. Wow. Oh. See, you're supposed to. Where am I? Look. What is this? A Ferrari? Dang. This is a fast car. You gotta love the Atari 2600 games because of they're simple. They're very simple games. They're easy to play. There's nothing that can go wrong. Like golf. What can go wrong? It's a golf game. It may be a little bit better than the Legacy console or Legacy Flashback, but so okay, I can play with the colors. Start button. Okay. I'm not. So you're basically just playing golf. And I'm not doing very good, but it's the controller. The controller is exactly the same as the Sega Genesis wireless controller and also the Genesis Legacy consoles controller, which I have over here. Oh, there goes the Legacy Flashback console. It looks exactly like this. It has the same 6-button configuration, minus the fact that it doesn't have any ports and it's just a simple HDMI dongle. There's nothing here that shows any thing. You actually start off as player 1. You can play multiplayer with friends, but it says read the manual, so it's kind of hard to tell if this is definitely a multiplayer-based console or what. Some games actually play really well. We have miniature golf. We have Millipede, the sequel to Centipede, which is the first game that they reference on this console. It's like the #1 default game, and you can play. There are many others. Basically, this is as simple and fun as this is going to get. This console actually runs very smooth. I see no screen tearing or issues with the games themselves. Oh, I died. Oh well. Anyone ever seen the movie Pixels? This is exactly like seeing the movie Pixels, but playing as the basically playing as Adam Sandler's character. So the console itself, you can even rewind. You can rewind back to where you destroyed the creature. So the rewind function works great if you want to rewind. Say you have a mishap and you die, you can press the rewind button. And basically rewinds the game. That weird funky thing is the loading screen. So you don't miss anything. Let's see. Millipede, the sequel to Centipede. Let's see. And usually you think you press the start button, but instead it lets you press the A button. Sometimes not all these games use the same commands. Okay, so they upgraded the sound a bit. So basically this is just an upgraded version of Centipede. Millipede is just Centipede without, technically centipedes and millipedes are related in insect family. For freaking games, the B button I believe is to pause. I have no idea. Sometimes you can pause. You can hit the C button. I think the C button pauses the game for you. Hitting the start button doesn't do anything. Hitting the menu, sometimes it doesn't always want to cooperate. You can change the levels to go all the way to hard. Pretty simple console. A simple design anyway. The gameplay itself isn't too hard, it's just, well, sometimes the game will not let you, you have to hold the menu down, because sometimes if you're trying to quit a game, just in my case for showcasing some of these games. There are only 20 games on this console. The other Atari games, there's a Pong one, and then there's another version that has the exact same controller. The Pong one comes with a paddle controller. The downside to some of these games is that there's only a few of them that have actually 20 games. The rest of the consoles only have, one only has like 12 games, and it's in the Legacy. It's basically called the Flashback Legends version, which is basically similar to the Legends console, but in dongle form. And then you have this console. The reason I wanted to try this is it has the Earth World, Fire World, and Water World games, and a classic Atari game called Sprint Master. I never tried it. Most of these were licensed by the company. You can play on. Typical. I'm not good on arcade games. Pressing the start button will reset the car. It's just trying to get used to this controller. Thankfully, I have rechargeable batteries that I use for other consoles, such as the My Arcade Pixel console. So that way I already have a little battery charger for it, so you can charge these batteries. These are doing pretty well these were fully charged the last time, so they do pretty well playing this console. The only other console I have hooked up to this TV would be the Legacy, and you guys have seen me playing that console. Tempest. I've never played Tempest. There's a lot of these old games. So some people have accused AT Games of using NES ports. These are technically 2600 ports. They won't port it to the Nintendo Entertainment System. Oh, okay. I have no idea what the hell's going on here. Tempest is a strange game. We'll leave it at that. Until I get better, I'll play more of the games and get better at them, but for all intents and purposes, this is only for testing and showing off. The UI for these consoles are pretty simple. This one does not have a SD card slot like some of the other AT games. But from what I've read, a lot of the AT games, including the Sega Genesis portable version, had a lot of issues with the using an SD card. Yeah, there was one game, and if you watch the Dreamcast guy, but the Angry Video Game Nerd, he reviewed all three of these games: Earth World, Fire World, and Water World. There was going to be a Air World, and there was a contest that Atari held. Sadly, Atari started going under, and the video game crash happened, which ended the basically development on the sequel. So we only have a trilogy of games for this console. The air-sea battle is not too bad, actually. Actually, it says just 27 video games in one. When you play this one is actually very fun. It's simplistic. I hit the wrong button. pressing the start button. And you can play around with the colors. Some of the buttons do things, random things. I think I pressed the wrong one. The one that I went was with the bomber airplane. I think it's not Desert Falcon, it's Fatal Run. There it is. No, not Fatal Run. What was that? That's Tic-Tac-Toe. Dodge 'em, new. There it is, Radar Lock. That's the game I like. Radar Lock. There's a lot of other games you notice that have a little asterisk on them. Some of these are the Atari, supposed official Atari ports for this console. Atari gave permission to AT Games to make these. They do have several Atari flashbacks. I think they're up to like number 9. The 9 one has all these games built into it. The only problem is it's about $50 for the console. You can probably get it cheaper somewhere else, but I don't know. It depends on the person's point of view, because some of these consoles are really good, and some of these games are just not really so much bad. They're just there's something simple about just playing a simple Atari game. Is so simple. These games are simple. They do make AT Games did help Atari make a portable version for. Not portable, but for, they do have a portable Pac-Man version. It only has about 9 games on the dongle, and then there's the handheld console by My Arcade. But there is a version that you can buy called the Atari, basically Legacy, or Atari 2600 Legacy for PlayStation, and if you don't want to buy the $18, almost like $20 dongles, you can get yourselves that. It's about, I think, like $50 or so. Maybe it's down to $30 and $29.99 now. But they, we're full auto now. There we go. But they, sell it that. You can find one in Volume 2. It has all these games on there. Oh, most of the classic ones, anyway. There's just something so simple and easy about these classic arcade games. There's like, I know there's not a lot of good. Well, you can go to an arcade, but there's not that many arcades out there anymore. I really play this. Now, unless you still own an Atari 2600 for this console, and you have all the cartridges for it, if you can get running on the modern TVs today, which you can't. So, for $18, the price to own in this, wow, we did it. They'll return to the carrier soon. And refuel when you load. But playing on this is not too bad. The controls are responsive, which is good, because most games, unlike the Legacy Flashback console, there you go. You just return, press the C button to return, press the A button to go back out into combat. This is a pretty simple game. This is fun. I'm actually enjoying this game. And I reloaded my machine guns, so this is before games like Top Gun or anything even existed on the NES. And Atari definitely loved a lot of things with space. You notice a lot of space things games, like Galaga, Galaxion. There's a lot of good games. They don't. Obviously, you can get some of these on there. You can get Asteroids, which is a good game too. You can also buy like a mini keychain arcade cabinet version of the game. And pressing the C button actually takes you back. You can press the menu button, press the C button. This is the funnest, pretty fun. Now, I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to take a look at the other console that I already paid for. You already know about it, the Legacy. The great thing about it is if you look over here, this is the console itself. There's the power cord, And it plugs right into the little USB. And I've got it plugged into HDMI 4. If you have a different type of TV or you have a smaller TV, you already have a console plugged on it, you can just remove that console. This is already uses an HDMI port. All these games are being played in 720p, and for the most part, this is actually fun. A lot of consoles don't do that, and you're left wondering what happened to them. Or you get an Atari console, modern day, and you don't have an old style analog type TV to play it. Yep, that's for the PlayStation. Let's see, HDMI 3 should be the one. There we go. Now, this console, damn it, I did not want to do that. This is 1942, the game. Alright, you all probably remember this console. Oh, Lord. I forgot you have to press on this console. They had to put that annoying coin system to make it appear that these are the arcade ports. Hitting the A button works. Pressing the start button works. My only complaint with this console is the some of the older games have a bit of screen tearing. Now this only happens on a certain number of games, and you have to basically reset this bloody console anytime you want to quit, or if it decides to just randomly freeze up in the middle of a game. Now, the only great thing is Super Street Fighter, and if we go to the A to Z, you've guys seen me review this console before, but it does have a few. You will find a few of the ports from whatchamacallit. It's not Commander, but you'll find a few ports on this console from Data East games like Crude Buster and Bad Dudes, Dig Dug. You'll find a few of those on the other AT games dongle consoles, so that's why I didn't buy one, because the issues with that, not because of the issues, but there's the Glagger game I was telling you guys about, but because I kind of own it on this console, it's not a bad thing. You got Joe Mac and Joe Mac Returns, Hyperdyne, Sidearms, you got Judge Dredd, Mappy, which is on another one of the consoles. There's Heavy Barrel, that's another Data East game, which also appears on this console, which you guys have seen me review the Pixel Plus. The port is a little bit different. It's a little bit better than the other console that I bought, so if anyone's interested, I'd say get that console if you want to take your games on the go. There we go. We're looking for his. It's hidden around here somewhere. It's in the arcade games. Wasn't Street? There it is. Strider and Burger Time, Super Burger Time, and none of the other games. These games work great on this console. And let's not forget Side Pocket, which was another Data East game. It's not a bad game, but it's a pool game. I don't really care too much for pool. Pressing on the console itself. Put the coins in. Press the A button. Press the start button. This game seems to be, this and a few other games seem to work really good. This is a Capcom game, which I'm surprised. Most people will let you know, though, that this is probably a NES port of the game. Now, for anyone who thinks that Nintendo, there's a lot of people saying who've done reviews on Amazon, and they're saying that if Nintendo finds out these guys are using their ROMs for their games, that they're going to basically be destroyed. AT Games is, I guess, a Chinese company. I don't know. I know that they manufacture video games. They also have a few Brazilian tech toy games, which I'm surprised because Tectoy no longer exists. They were a prolific Brazilian manufacturer of Sega Genesis consoles. And when Sega exited the console market, The company kind of lost its so Sega kind of lost its Tectoy lost a lot without Sega around, so it was kind of a tough time for them. So they faulted. They created their own console called the Zebo. That console no longer exists anymore, so it's kind of only annoyance with some of these AT games is the start button. You think you press the start button to pause them, but no, you have to reach down and actually physically touch the console right there just to play it. Now, normally that wouldn't bother me. Sorry if you're seeing my hand here because I'm trying to move this around and get the little thing set back up over here to hold it in place so I can do the recording. And some of this is just downright annoying. At least with this console, once you turn it off, there's no extra additional issues. This one up here, unless you unplug it without its this console, basically the little dongle will basically just run on there, and your on button for this controller is right here. It has a blue light to let you know that it works. So you're hoping that works because this console, if it decides to fail or the little HDMI dongle is damaged, you will not be able to play the game. Hitting the... Okay, so I guess we just press it. And we're basically just playing tic-tac-toe. I guess you have to get 4 in a row? I have no idea. I have no idea how this game technically works. It's an Atari game. It says 3D tic-tac-toe, so I assumed it was 3D tic-tac-toe. You got bowling, you got Desert Falcon, which probably was better than some of the other games. You already know I like that airplane game. At least some of these games let you... Owie. I don't know what this blob is. I'm guessing this is a creature. Ah, it says get 3 Hyros or something? I have no idea. The game just loves to snipe you. Interesting. These are Atari games, so it's, some of it takes time getting used to them. I already tried golf. Fatal Run is weird. Card game. The only downside is how for $18, 20 games isn't bad, but still it feels kind of rather light. But then again, you'd be getting the same things as if you were trying to get a whatchamacallit. Okay, messing around with these paws. These are simple, but for 20 games, it still seems rather light. But if you're going to buy a PlayStation console, the little PS1 Classic, you have something similar to this. So you kind of for $20, 20 games, which is like $18.88 or something for these games. These games aren't bad. Actually, you get your money's worth for the console. Atari seems to love space, so games like Yars, Return and Yars' Revenge. are actually rather fun. And it's kind of fun that you can move around. Originally, this was generally just a simple joystick. You didn't have any of this, you didn't have any extra technology to play these games. They're not really, and they're not really hard games either. They're just, they take a lot of skill. I don't know if I'll get the Pac-Man dongle. It does come with this nice cover to protect the dongle when you're not using it, or if you're unplugging the console to take it with you. So this console is small enough you can take it, this, and the remote with you, or you can just pack a dedicated handheld. The only downside is the Data East games have some weird ROMs that are based off of Nintendo. Nintendo be suing. Let's try Water or Earth World first, then we'll try Water World and Fire World, and we'll get started. The interesting feature about this is the game itself. You can run anywhere on the map, or assume whichever way you want to go. Some are dead ends. But for the time, rudimentary graphics, if you guys can see this. Let me pull it up there for a bit. Whoa. Okay. Just going to complain about the orientation. As you can see, these graphics aren't that bad. Playing a classic console game like this means, especially playing an Atari 2600, what might help to see the screen is if I close my shade up in a moment. Maybe, just maybe, you guys get to see it. Maybe, maybe not. Actually, no, that just made things worse. So I'm just going to open this window back up. Let's screw this. Okay. We'll leave things alone from now on. But we're going to go through. You keep going through doors. I know you're supposed to collect items and such, but... Ah, we made it. 16-4. I have no idea, but I guess we did. I don't think we beat the game, but... but the game itself is not bad. On to the next world. Next we're going to try Fire World, and then we'll try Water World. And back then you had to use your imagination for these games, because these are older Atari games, so the graphics... Alright, so they changed your sprite. This time you're now a dark sprite, not a color. Basically wander around. You're supposed to look for items. And the general purpose of this game is just to explore. Think of this like what happened to Minecraft, but not Minecraft. And that's as far as I'm going to go for now. I'm only testing these games out. I'm not going to do like a full hour-long playthrough. For the most part, this is just to give you guys an idea of the games on this console. And to show you why I chose this one, because I want to try the world. You can actually get the Sword Quest games on the other game. Now, Water World, not going to be confused with the Water World that you see with Kevin Costner. Oh, okay. Press an A button. You gotta dodge a bunch of sharks. That's a lot of sharks. And it's like any other games. Any other annoying water level in a video game. Sharks, fish, shocking things. Fun, but annoying at the same time. And for one final thing, we're going to look at one final game on here. Before I decide to get off, we're going to look at Dodge 'em. Okay, I have no idea. Start maybe. So basically it's like playing Pac-Man, but you gotta dodge the other vehicle. So basically you're dodging the other vehicle. The game kind of plays itself a little bit, and you're basically just along for the ride. But anyway, this it was the AT Games Flashback Volume 1 Blast Console. like I say, the games are a little bit better. There are Atari 2600 games, so it's kind of hard to hurt an Atari 2600 port game. But there are emulators out there, so you can get these games, or you can buy them for PlayStation 4 or Xbox.